Well, the content of this presentation is about developing a remote work strategy for the revenue cycle. And the audience that is intended for is the revenue cycle VPs throughout the country or any revenue cycle department. I'm remote here in Nashville, so my hospital is in Greensboro. So I'm a perfect example of how a VP of revenue cycle can work remotely and accomplish the same metrics or better metrics and work with their team. We started this process before COVID, so we were ahead of the game. My staff came to me, my directors, and they said, you know, we want to take a look to see what we can do to improve the relationship with our employees, make it better for them so that they can work from home, because there's various positives with that. One, they'd save money on gas. Two, they'd save money on dry cleaning and clothing costs. Three, they would be able to be home a little bit longer for their children. They would be earlier in the morning and also get at home at night. So there were a lot of positives. We basically created a policy, and the policy is outlined that says when you're a new hire, you have to first come in and work with the on-site team that we do have. And then afterwards, you have to meet the qualifications and sign an attestation, an agreement that basically you're allowed to work from home, remote. And we also put in that provision that anybody that is working remote must increase their productivity from 10% up by 10% compared to what they were doing when they were at the hospital. So we put a catch-all there because the studies show that people who do remote work, the productivity is more. And I can understand that because I probably work more hours now because it's nice and convenient for me. I go in early in the morning, I sign on, you know, sometimes later on in the night, you know, like last night I was on the revenue cycle match advisory meeting, you know, and that lasted till 6 o'clock. So, you know, from that perspective, we knew that there would be an increase in productivity, and we've seen that between 10 and 15%. But what we said in that agreement is, one, you will work these specific hours. Two, you're not at home to take care of children. Okay, so it wasn't your children, you couldn't have a daycare basically at home. And so you had to commit to that. Three, you agreed to the productivity increase. Four, we also put in there that, you know, at any time, we could really come to your house to see where your work area is, because we wanted to separate the work area from the living area. And we asked that in the agreement, and they had to certify that they did that. We won't do field visits. We have to trust our staff, and we trust them to the results that we've seen. And the other thing that it did was, you know, hospitals have a lot of physical plant, so buildings and things like that. And so where a lot of our folks now are remote, we don't need a building as much. You know, we still have to have some on-site people to print things because we do not allow printing at home because we want to protect HIPAA. So we don't want any issues with that. So all the printing, the remote workers request the printing queues, and somebody on site is taking care of that. And also there's some on-site work being done on the documentation review, because again, we don't want that to be circulated and thrown in the trash anywhere at a remote worker. So I think from that perspective, you know, we put in all the safeguards. You know, they also have to, we provide the computers. They have to provide their own internet, and it's got to be at a speed that we agreed on in order for them, because we have a lot of software that we utilize. And so it has to be efficient. And some people who are in rural areas, they couldn't do that, so they remained on site. So, you know, I think it's a positive for the industry, and you know, I continue to look forward to it. And again, the efficiency factor and the productivity factor has allowed us to work more accounts, and also I think from an efficiency factor, I think you're a little bit more relaxed when you're home, especially if you're working in your pajamas. I'm just joking, but you know, I think from that perspective, we're getting that. We've also seen we haven't seen a decrease in cash. You know, with COVID, we're still having problems with payers. So that's something that's out of our control, and what everything has hit us. So from that perspective, you know, I just think it's a wonderful employee benefit. It allows you to recruit people that you would never be able to do before, because you could hire somebody, you know, like in Nashville, you know, and they could work Greensboro accounts. And medical records has been doing that for quite a while with coders all over the country. So from that perspective, it opens up your range of applicants for future hiring. And I think that's great also, because the hiring market, as you well know, is very difficult now, and getting people to apply and who will want to work. And but the other aspect of it is our job is very difficult, because, you know, we're the lifeline from a cash perspective of the hospital system. And so, you know, it's very challenging, and at times there's a lot of pressure on us in the revenue cycle. Each person has to fill out an application for telecommuting, and it basically says, you know, do you have a dedicated workspace free of interruptions? Is your workspace private so that no HIPAA violations would occur? Are you currently meeting and sustaining departmental quality and productivity standards? And can you provide proof of high-speed internet? And then it says, if approved, then please advise the schedule you wish to be set as your standard work. And so they have to we give them a range of time, because, you know, we have to be able to call payers and things like that. And also the employee has to be out of provisional status, which means probation. And if they're in corrective action, they can't do it either. And so they have to go through this. So that's very important. So that's committing the employee to those standards. And I think that's a key. And then the policy basically states that, you know, the same thing, that you're going to be responsible for the company's equipment that we send you. If you ever leave, you have to return it to us. It indicates that we're going to monitor you to make sure that you're doing the work. And basically the policy states this is a fringe benefit to you. And so don't abuse it, and you know, take charge. And the other thing, it states that sometimes you might have to come in for in-person meetings. And so, you know, that was another provision that we put in the policy. Even if I was required, I'd have to go to Greensboro. So I think it gave some flexibility to our team. But the other thing is, with the innovation of Zoom, we don't use Zoom. We use, you know, the Outlook product, WebEx. I think that has made a world of difference. You know, I can have a team meeting, and I do it with all the employees and talk about what's going on. So you don't have that in-person feel. That's the negative side, because some people used to, you know, they enjoy being next to a cubicle next to their fellow employee. And so you lose that. However, by doing things on WebEx, you know, having, you know, some social hours, having an opportunity to give them updates about what's going on in the health system, it keeps them apprised and keeps them involved. And we can also relate our experience. You know, anybody wants to contact us, we'd be glad to help them out. They all know that through Revenue Cycle Match, they can contact me. I'm on LinkedIn all the time. I'm posting all the time. And so, you know, I'm easy to reach. Thanks for your time. You know, it's really important as revenue cycle match advisors that, you know, we bring to the forefront of our industry and help our teams excel. And so I hope this little piece helped you and your teams, and I know you will be successful. And don't forget, the name of the game is cash and show me the money. So thank you for your time.